Hey Clay Mommies, this is Tanya M, aka Diabla Verde. Welcome back to my channel. You're about to watch a video on how I make my synthetic wigs look natural. Stay tuned. Hey Glam Mommies. Okay, I'm back with this video because I've had a lot of requests, not just from the videos, but like in general, women just asking me on Instagram, on Facebook, like, how do I do my baby hairs? How do you make your part look so natural? And I just decided to do a video showing y'all how I make my synthetic wigs look natural or look human-like. And so here we go. Before we get in the video, I just want to let y'all know, if you're looking for updates and previews of wigs I'm going to review or have reviewed, please go ahead to my social media networks. I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, you name it, I have it. The links will be down below, and you can talk to me and enjoy wigs and makeup along with me. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Okay, beauties, the first step is making sure that you're taking care of your own hair. So you want to have a good base, a nice flat base. You want to have at least 6 to 8 braids, depending on how fine or how thick your hair is. If you don't know how to cornrow, you can always wear your hair straight in a low ponytail and tuck the ends up above in your stocking cap. I always moisturize my hair with a good thick oil at least 2 to 3 times a week. This is by Aunt Jackie's. I just moisturize in between the braids, and then I also make sure to moisturize the ends of my hair also to keep those nice and oiled, and so it prevents breakage underneath your stocking cap, because wearing a stocking cap can be very drying for your hair. Speaking of the stocking cap, you want to make sure you have a stocking cap that matches the color of your natural scalp. Your natural scalp is always a shade a little bit lighter than your natural skin complexion. If you can't find a good stocking cap to match your natural scalp, you can either get the closest one and add some face powder or some foundation just to tint it, to make sure that the lace, or that the section that you can see underneath the lace, is matching your natural scalp. This is a way to make sure the parting looks natural. The first thing you want to do is pull the wig out of the package. This is by Vella Vella in the style Mina, and I have her in the color D blue. You want to make sure that you try the wig on before you cut the lace or cut the tag off. This way, if you don't like the item, you can have it shipped back to the store, or you can take it back to your local beauty supply store, depending on the return policy. I adjust my straps 100%. I click them together. I have a smaller head, and this just it helps for me to make sure that it's secure. Some things you want to look for when you do try on your wig is it thin enough? Is it thick enough for you? Look at the parting to make sure to see if you have to pluck it or not. Are there baby hairs? Do you have to pluck the hairline? I do have a video on plucking the hairline, so it'll be down in the description box. These are just some things you want to do before you make sure. If the hair is too thick, you can also thin it out, and I will also post a link down below. This wig is fine on that. Once you cut the lace, because you're satisfied with the wig, you want to place her back on your head. Sometimes the wig can be a little loose after cutting the lace, so if it's not tight like it was when you tried it on with the lace, you can always take it off and readjust the straps. You want to place it on your head and make sure that the part is lined up where you want. And I always brush through the wig just to see how the shedding is, or there's any extra shedding. Basically just to get rid of the shed hair. When brushing a synthetic wig, you always want to brush from the ends up. This prevents tangling and snagging. When synthetic hair tangles and snags, it can become really frizzy, and that's where the look comes from it looking really like a Brillo pad and whatnot. Any wig can turn into a Brillo pad if it's not taken care of correctly. The next step is plucking your part if it needs it. This wig really doesn't need to be plucked. I could probably just add some powders to conceal the knots, but we're going to go ahead and do it. You want to part little tiny sections and pull no more than 2 to 3 strands at a time. If you pull more than that, you have the potential to rip the lace, and you don't want to do that because you'll have a hole in your lace and it's obvious that it's a lace front. So you want to gently pull, gently but forcefully pull, and you want to do it a little bit at a time. So part a little bit and pluck, and then go back and part again where need be and pluck again. The next step is brushing the hair back out of the way in preparation for adding baby hairs. I know a lot of females don't like baby hairs, and if you don't like them, you don't have to add them. But this is for those who do prefer. I prefer them because it helps it to look a little bit more natural than having just a blocked hairline. A lot of synthetic wigs don't come with a customized hairline, so this helps to make it look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just putting the hair out of the way, and I'm taking the rat's tail comb and parting a very thin section, If you pull too much hair out, pull it back. You don't want to have a thick hairline full of baby hairs. At that point, it's obvious and it's noticeable. So you want to have a very thin line of baby hairs. In this portion, I am so sorry, but my head is out of the camera. But I'm basically just cutting the baby hairs short enough to actually swoop them back. And I'm going to take my Got To Be Glued gel. It's very thick. It's really good for baby hairs on synthetic wigs. Synthetic fibers tend to not lay down as easily as human hair. So the Got To Be Glued gel is really good in this case in order to slick them back and for the baby hairs to stay in place. So I'm just applying a little bit of the gel along the hairline where I pulled the baby hairs and cut the baby hairs. And you want to go ahead and grab your edge brush or edge comb and just swoop it. And just watch the technique of me swooping. You want to swoop down and pull forward, okay? My thing is, you don't want the baby hairs to be on top of each other. See, at this point, they're on top of each other and it looks really dense. So what I do is just put my finger down to hold the swoop together, and I pull the hair up into the rest of the hair. And this way, it helps it to blend. It helps your baby hairs to definitely blend in with the rest of your hair. For extra security on making sure the part looks natural, I'm going to take a face powder or eyeshadow powder and apply that into the part and just rub it through just to make sure that it blends. You don't want to just stick it on the part because it's kind of obvious. So make sure you take your finger after you apply the powder and just rub it into the part just to make sure that it blends better or it blends well with your skin. Sometimes after the wig has been packaged for a very long time, it can cause the wig to have humpage at the top. I call it humpage. It's basically very puffy at the top and it doesn't look natural. It looks like the wig is just sitting on top of your head. A way to remedy that is to take a hot wand curler at 320 degrees and just rub it on top of the wig until it ends up getting flatter and it looks like it's actually closer to your scalp. It looks like a really good sew-in that way. So make sure you do that. I rub it on the top of the head not the top of the head, the top of the wig and in the front of the wig, just to flatten it down near the part. It looks totally natural after this. Sometimes after the wig has been packaged for a long time, it can end up having dents in it, especially if it's a long straight wig. Or the company could have thought it was a good idea to put bumps at the end of the wig. And we all know that bumps at the end of the wig can look fake depending on how much they bumped it. So what I do is just take a flat iron on 320 degrees and just run it through big chunks of the hair. I don't want to do too small sections because it can change the hair texture adding heat to it. And this wig is already silky, so I don't want to add too much heat to it. I'm just running it through just to straighten it out a little bit more, because for this wig to be this long, they put bumps at the end and that looks so fake. So I just want to get as long and straight as possible. A final step you can take to make sure that your wig looks natural is to take some dry shampoo. Sometimes synthetic fibers can come off really shiny, they reflect a lot of light. And a way to prevent that is to take dry shampoo, hold the can from a distance, and spray it onto your hair. You don't want to spray it too close because then this can leave a white film. But definitely spraying this on your hair can dull down the shininess and make it look way more natural than it does with it being so shiny. After you do that, you want to make sure you comb it through or brush it through, and this will help to get rid of any spots if you did add too much dry shampoo. This would take away the dusty look and whatnot and spread out the dry shampoo products. So here's the final results. I hope you're pleased as I am. I'm very much pleased with the final results. I feel like I have some long, luxurious bundles in, and I actually am thinking about wearing this when I go out. I cannot wait. So nice. Look how easily my fingers run through it. This is because the ends are thin. If you want to see how to thin out a wig, I did not thin this one out. It came like that, but I appreciate it. A lot of wigs don't come like that. And if you do have a wig that's too thick at the bottom, I will put a link up above so you can see how to thin out your wigs.
Okay, Glam Mommies, as you see, it really wasn't that hard. It didn't take long at all. It's like 30 minutes tops when you're taking your time. You can make any synthetic wig look natural, look flawless, and nobody's going to be able to tell unless you tell them that it's a synthetic wig. If you like videos such as this on wig tutorials and wig reviews, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscription button down below, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Love you guys. Bye.